Meta just dropped their newest AI model, Muse, and the internet is going crazy. And the past 10 days alone have possibly been the craziest 10 days in AI history. Anthropic's Fable 5 got unbanned. XAI turned into SpaceX AI and they dropped a new Grok. And OpenAI released GPT 5.6. We've had 4 frontier models hit the market in the last month alone. But in this video, we're going to talk about Muse and Meta because I believe they're going to be the dark horse of the AI race. From the stats alone, this model is looking very impressive. So in this video, we'll break down exactly what Muse 1.1 is, how Meta has just become a new powerhouse contender in the AI race, and how they're actually stacking up head to head with the big boys. So let's dive right in. So what actually is Muse 1.1? First, let's decode the name because like AI companies do, Meta has also made the name of their model very confusing. Now, Muse is the family like Claude is for Anthropic, and Spark is the model line inside that family like Opus is for Claude. And 1.1, like you would have guessed it, is the newest version to 1.0, which came back in April. Now, Meta's own framing is that this model has been created with agentic tasks in mind. You can use it right now for free inside the Meta AI app. And over the next few weeks, it's expected to replace the older models powering the AI inside WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook. Now, the real headline here is actually in how Meta is selling it. Alongside Muse 1.1, Meta has also launched Meta Model API. And this is the first time that outside developers can actually pay Meta to build on top of one of its models, which is crazy because it's a big shift in what Meta has been doing over the last decade or so when it comes to AI and their original Llama series. If you rewind to 2013, Meta, which was just Facebook back then, set up one of the first serious AI labs in the world called FAIR. And to run it, they hire Yann LeCun. I apologize if I'm butchering that name. I don't speak French very well. But what you must know is that he is literally considered to be one of the 3 men known as the godfathers of modern AI. A little under a decade later, when the ChatGPT wave hits, LeCun agrees to build Meta's own language model on one condition, so long as it stays open and free. That model became Llama, and Llama blew up, becoming pretty much the most widely used open weights AI model in history. Then came April 2025 and Llama 4. Llama 4 was supposed to be the model that put Meta at the front of the AI race, but instead it flopped, and it flopped extremely hard because Meta's team got caught juicing up their own benchmark numbers, and the version they submitted to public leaderboards wasn't even the same model they shipped to developers. Now, to put the actual gap in one number, there's an independent scale called the Intelligence Index that scores every major model. On that index, Llama 4's best version scored an 18, while the leaders at the time were sitting in the high 50s. Now, this was obviously a huge liver shot to our main man Zuckerberg. So our guy decided to go and plan the most expensive comeback in AI history. His first move was to pay $14.3 billion for a 49% non-voting stake in a company called Scale AI in June of 2025. Now, the real prize here wasn't actually just their company. It was their 28-year-old founder, Alexander Wang, who Zuckerberg made Meta's chief AI officer. And then came the talent raid. Meta went after the top researchers at OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google DeepMind with pay packages that reportedly ran from $100 to $300 million each. Zuckerberg himself was reportedly running recruiting personally. And funny enough, some AI researchers just thought his DMs were fake and just ended up ignoring him. Now, all this talent got rolled into a new division called Meta Superintelligence Labs, with Wang running the frontier models and former GitHub CEO Nat Friedman running products. But this comeback also left over 600 people out of jobs. And LeCun himself actually also left the company after being sidelined by Wang. Less than a year later, after their Llama 4 crash out, in April of 2026, that lab shipped his first model, Muse 1.0. And the model was good. On that same intelligence index where Llama scored 18, Muse 1.0 scored 52. Which brings us to today and what Muse 1.1 actually brings to the table. Let's start with the raw specs. Muse 1.1 has a 1 million token context window, which is on par with Claude's Opus 4.8 and OpenAI's GPT 5.5. It's fully multimodal, but Meta has still not disclosed the parameter count or the architecture. But the headline feature is how it works as an agent. And 2 things stand out. First, it's built to run teams of itself. As a main agent, it can plan a big task and delegate pieces to parallel copies of itself, called subagents, all working at once. Second, it's trained to use a computer like you do. It can click on interfaces, type into browsers, and work on desktop and mobile. And it actually has a level of judgment because it can decide whether it's faster to write a script versus just clicking through the screen. And the demo that actually shows what that means in real life is actually very impressive. You take out your phone and you shoot a quick video of something you want to sell, say an old chair, a bike, or whatever. MuseSpark watches the video, pulls out the best frames, figures out what the product is and what it's worth, then opens your browser and builds the Facebook Marketplace listing for you. We're talking photos, title, description, price, all of that just from you filming a video. And then there's the cost of using the model. MuseSpark 1.1 costs $1.25 per million input tokens and $4.25 per million output. For comparison, Opus 4.8 is $5 in and 25 out. Fable 5 is $10 in and 50 out. So Meta is undercutting the entire American frontier market by quite a margin. We've talked about a couple features so far, but how good is MuseSpark 1.1 actually? Here's the pattern. On humanity's last exam with tools, which is a brutal frontier reasoning test where the model gets to use search and code, it scored 62.1, beating Claude Opus 4.8's 57.9. It also took the top spot on the major tool use benchmark like MCP Atlas and JobBench. Now, where it's not quite as good is raw coding. On the SweetBench Pro, it scored 61.5. Now that edges out GPT 5.5, but it's well behind Opus 4.8's 69.2, and it is nowhere near Fable 5's 80.3. Now GLM 5.2, which is the open Chinese model we've covered in the past, scores 62.1 on the SweetBench Pro, so statistically, that's a tie against the model you can download and run for free. And on terminal work, it's a clear third behind both GPT 5.5 and Opus. So it's best in class at orchestrating tools and running errands, but a little bit behind on writing hard code. Now, one quick disclaimer, every single number I just gave you from MuseSpark comes from Meta's own launch table. And on that table, Meta showed which modes to show its rivals in. This is the company that by its own admission juiced up benchmark numbers for Llama 4. As of the release of this video, the eval report is public, and independent testers will verify them in a couple of days. But as of today, there is no independent score for 1.1 yet. So what does this mean for Meta? There are three things you should know about for the foreseeable future. First is how these new gen models actually progress. Alexander Wong says Meta is already training a new model using 10 times the compute power behind MuseSpark 1.0. And he claims it already matches GPT 5.5 with an Opus level coding model coming very soon. There's also Muse Video, which is already in development, and Muse Image, which released a couple of days ago. Now the second thing is the money coming in. Meta now has a paid API and consumer subscriptions. Not to mention the quiet giant underneath all of this, better AI capabilities means better ad targeting and more engagement across all platforms that Meta hosts. Primarily Facebook and Instagram, where Meta makes its billions every single year. Number three is automatic adoption. Meta ships this model as the default brain inside the apps that more than 3 billion people already use. This is the Gemini play, except the average person today probably even spends more time on Meta apps than they do on Google and YouTube. So I just don't see how Meta is not going to be a serious player in the AI race for the years to come. And I think the gap is only going to get more narrow as the months go on. So that's MuseSpark 1.1 for you. If you enjoyed this video, you can subscribe to the channel. If you want to get in touch with me personally, you can get in touch with me on LinkedIn. Link is down in the description below. And if you run a business doing anywhere from $2 to $10 million in annual revenue, you can book an AI opportunity audit with myself and my team. That is the first link down in the description. I'll see you in the next video.